So we got a couple more products to look at from EpicGear, and one of them is named the Zora. Now I'm sure a lot of you are thinking of the aquatic race that's from Legend of Zelda. I'm pretty sure they meant the creature from the Black Lagoon. Okay, so I know I already mentioned this, but we do have a couple more products from EpicGear, but we're not going to be done after this. We're going to have actually two more that I'm going to do with one other review coming from this point. So yeah, total of 6 things that we're looking at that EpicGear sent my way, and honestly, I can tell you they were all really good products. So, but spoiler alert, I get it. So let's at least go through a couple more things. I tried to keep everything categorically together. So we have a gaming mouse named the Zora, and then we have a little cable manager named the Skorpios. So these two little guys, of course, they fit well together, but these two little guys are maybe something you haven't heard of and not something that you see a lot of, at least on the cable manager side of things. So let's take a quick look at them and see how they do. Do a closer look as usual, do some testing impressions in the conclusion. If you want more detailed specs and some shots of how the software works, I'm going to actually keep that on the written portion of my review and the links in the description below. So you can check that out on pureoverclock.com. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at these guys.
For starters, we have the Skorpios mouse holder, or well, cable manager. It's not doesn't I guess it doesn't really hold a mouse; it holds the cable. But it's is pretty it's pretty straightforward, really. I'll go ahead and pick this guy up, and we'll just zoom in on a little bit better. So yeah, I mean it's pretty straightforward. You've got a design that very much looks like a scorpion. Of course, you can kind of see here a little bit of that EG in the middle. And yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of a heavy weight on the bottom. Got kind of a no slip surface there. And this guy's got a little flexibility in it, pretty decent, but enough to keep that cable nice and held up there. So um yeah, pretty basic idea. Nothing crazy. Looks awesome. I do love the way it looks. The only thing I was thinking is if maybe Epic Gear decided down the road to maybe make this so it's like it plugs in USB and then the mouse plugs in and has like a spot underneath or something to just wrap the cable so that you can just wrap all your mouse slack since you already have it, and then maybe have like the logos light up with different like RGB LEDs. That would be awesome. But I love the Scorpion design. The Scorpion design. I'm pro Scorpions for some reason. I think they're cool. So of course I think that thing's cool. So right beside here we have the Zora mouse. So this guy is really a decent mouse. It's got your laser sensor and everything. So there's a lot of details on it that are pretty average, I guess you could say. Nothing. It's not one of the crazy optical sensors with a ridiculous high DPI or anything. You can check out my written review for all those details and the specifications. So basically, you can kind of see right now, you might have been seeing it for a while, this LED effect. This is a passive effect. As soon as I move the mouse, it's going to go to solid color again. And it looks like it gets stuck to red, but that's okay because everything else is stuck to red. So I'd love to see more color customization with future releases across the whole spectrum. But I think this is something that's one of the early releases. Maybe they're more for X. They might be doing more of that within the software. I can't really, I can't say for sure if they're doing that. And I'm sure down the road things could change. Um, yeah, it's a basically asymmetrical mouse. Everything is very just cut down the middle, very similar. The only thing that makes it right-handed is you still have your buttons here on the side that kind of force it into a right-handed situation. So yeah, the weight system in this mouse is nice. This cover just slides right off. And then you're right there in the weight system, no problem. And so I thought that was really cool. Now you can see here, I have no weights in it, but that's because I took them all out. But the weights are, I'll just pull one of these up a little bit closer. There's these little silver guys here. Nice little 5 gram weights. You can put 4 of them in there. So yeah, just a nice little design. Let's see if I can get back on that. Perfect. So they just slide right into these little slots, and then you can pull them out and adjust them however you want. So they weren't too hard to get in or out. I like that design. Nice to have the adjustable weights. Of course, like I said, I took them all out. I ended up liking it a little bit lighter, but I like the fact that it gives you that option. Thing slaps right back on. So one of the final things that I noticed that was really cool. So you've got a couple buttons here. This one switches to your different profiles. Oh, hang on, let me change that here for a second. There we go. So this one will switch to your different profiles. This mouse has, I believe, 5 profiles. So there's profile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, profile 1. And then this guy does your DPI adjustments, so slowest speed, and you got 4 different settings. If you hold this button down until it flashes, like you just saw me do earlier, it'll lock it. And now, if I accidentally press any of this stuff, it's not going to adjust it. I never use lower DPIs in my mice. I can kind of see the benefit for first-person shooters, but I don't ever use it because I just prefer to stay with one speed, and most of the time I don't even play first-person shooters. I play more RTS or MOBAs or RPGs. So I don't, some action games, but yeah, not a lot of first-person shooters. So I see the benefit of it, but I like the fact that I can lock it and not have to worry about accidentally changing anything. So there's a quick little overview. Kind of see the bottom here. See, you've got some nice rotor feet. Let's go ahead and move on to some testing impressions and go from there.
So let's start out with those testing impressions on the Skorpios. So a cable manager like this may not seem to have a huge amount of practical purposes. And quite frankly, I feel like it is a little bit of a niche product. Me testing it out, I do feel like it made a difference, which is nice because I have really great desk space. Of course, you can see that I've got this little setup over here all the time. But even at work, I always have lots of desk space. I've always tried to get desks that give me lots of movement to move my mouse around. So I've always worked along those levels. And because of that, I never have problems with like cable pull and cable drag because I always leave enough slack on my desk to make sure that my mouse moves nice and smoothly. So while the Skorpios made some effect for me, it was very, very minute, not enough for me to really say, oh my goodness, that was amazing. But it does its job perfectly. I do love it because it looks cool. And I will totally keep it on my desk because it looks cool. That said, if you have a really tight desk space and you've got your cable hanging out the back and it feels like it's always pulling, this guy could end up being a lifesaver for you. Because once you stick that cable up in there, it doesn't pull, it doesn't move, and your mouse free floats really nicely. So I think if you're in a really tight and cramped space on your desk, this guy could be hugely, hugely beneficial for you. Now, let's move on to the mouse. The Zora is, well, it's a mouse. And that being said, man, it's mice. There's just so many good mice out there that I think a lot of it comes to preference. So let's talk about what the Zora did teach me. Now, I am a huge optical sensor fan, and I finally figured out why. I really love having a cushy mouse pad on my desk. And it turns out that I do not think this laser sensor liked that mouse pad at all. It would always be like really skippy and jittery. I ended up just taking the mouse pad off and putting it on the hard surface of my desk, and everything was just perfect and smooth. And it ended up turning into the kind of tracking experience I'm very used to. Now, I've been trying to rush this out a little bit more than usual, so I didn't take just the dedicated time to just spend weeks on it, and I wouldn't have time to do that much gaming in this part of the year anyway. So that said, I did a good battle right session with my friend, got to test it out, and it felt really good. I mean, I'm actually now understanding that laser and opticals are both really good. I think that it's a surface application that really makes a difference. Now, some of you out there might have a stronger preference one way or another. So, don't mind me when I'm telling you, hey, I'm seeing a kind of an evenness. The only thing is I will always lean towards optical personally because I want a nice cloth mouse pad underneath. I feel like it helps ease a little bit of that pressure on my palm while I'm gaming. So laser will never be for me, but the laser works great. Software was good. I didn't have any problems. The mouse itself feels really nice. It's a comfortable mouse. The weight system was great. I love being able to change that. Even though I ended up going to the lightest setting, that was perfect for me. Had just enough weight to not feel like I was completely just flying around off the handle, but wasn't too terribly heavy either. So I like the feel, and if you wanted a little heavier, it's just nice to have that option. What really impresses me about EpicGear and the Zora is they do separate the buttons so that they're kind of free floating on their own and not attached to the plate on the back. I actually really like that. And in fact, that's something I wish all my mice had now, because that click feel feels better. It's minor, and I don't feel like it's detrimental. Like when I use some of my other mice that don't have that, as long as they still have good tracking and a soft feel, it's not, I don't feel like I'm missing clicks because of it, but I do like that better. And that's one thing that I totally agree with EpicGear about, that gives you a better click feel on your mouse when the buttons are separated like that. So overall, it is a decent mouse. It performs well. It's not super feature rich. You know, the color thing cycle changes as soon as you move it. That can be nice if you notice the color distracting you. I've never had LEDs from any of my peripherals distract me when I'm playing, so to me that doesn't seem like a huge deal. Skorpios is a great little cable manager. Let's go ahead and wrap this review up. So I can't really say EpicGear's done it again because, well, honestly, the Defiant and their mechanical switches are just excellent. They're really great. The EpicGear Zora mouse is a great mouse, but the problem is there's just so many great mice, and they're not really doing anything that is so unique and so that stands out so big to me that I can say, oh my goodness, this is amazing. That said, it is a really good mouse. It's got great quality. I didn't find anything wrong with it. It does have the infrared, the laser, not infrared. It has the laser sensor on the bottom in case you like that. The Skorpios, you know, it's a cable manager. It does what it needs to do, and it looks cool while it's doing it, but I don't think it's going to change your life just to have it. So, yeah, maybe they have done it again in the sense that, oh, wow, they blew my mind. But at the same time, they've done a really great job, and there is absolutely nothing that I could find that was seriously wrong with it. As far as the Skorpios is concerned, there isn't any availability on the US yet, which is kind of a bummer because if you like this thing, you're like, oh, when can I get one? I didn't find one yet, but they've been. I think EpicGear is kind of beefing up their selection on Amazon here, and they're gradually adding more and more products. So I'm sure it'll show up soon enough, but you know I have to get a little more time before that happens. So it's a great product. I doubt they're going to charge too much because so far everything I've seen on pricing has been really fantastic with them. The Zora, it's right at about 42, 43 bucks on Amazon. So that's not a bad price for a really solid gaming mouse. It's going to give you really good tracking. It's not going to have some of the optical sensors and stuff, but to me, a lot of the gaming mice that I feel like compare with this one are closer to $50 and $60. So being just a little bit less is great. So yeah, really, in light of everything I'm saying, even though these products maybe didn't blow me away as much as what the Defiant did, I'm still very, very pleased with them, and I cannot find anything wrong. So I'm still going to say editor's choice overall. The availability on the Skorpios is going to hurt that a little bit, but yeah, I can't. I've got them both together, and I just put one award on the screen, so it's hard for me to separate. So I'm just going to give both of them a pure overclock editor's choice award. Like I said, though, there's nothing wrong. Build quality is great. The weight system is nice. The feel was excellent. So it is a very solid mouse, well built, nicely made. Not going to complain there. So there we go. We've gotten 2 of our EpicGear reviews done. Now we got one more coming up. And this one's going to be some of their audio equipment. Really want you guys to be looking out for that one because I tell you what, we're going to go back into mind-blowing proportions of, well, let's just say they really impressed me with some of this audio equipment. And I can't wait to go over it because I've been using it for quite a while now. So yeah, if you like this video, like and subscribe to my channel if you want to keep seeing more. Would love to have that support. Check out EpicGear stuff. I really want to recommend that you check out their keyboards at least because their keyboards are fantastic. Highly recommend that. I do really like this mouse, so if it fits into your kind of preference, then definitely check it out. I'll catch you later.